The Mayavadi philosopher who does not differentiate between the Supreme Spirit and the individual spirit says that the conditional existence of the living entity is his Leela or pastime. But the word pastime implies employment in the activities of the Lord. The Mayavadis misuse the word and say that even if the living entity has become a stool-eating hog, he is also enjoying his pastimes. This is a most dangerous interpretation. Actually, the Supreme Lord is the leader and maintainer of all living entities. His pastimes are transcendental to any material activity. Such pastimes of the Lord cannot be dragged to the level of the conditional activities of the living entity. In conditional life, the living entity actually remains as if a captive in the hands of material energy. Whatever the material energy dictates, the conditioned soul does. He has no responsibility. He is simply the witness of the action. But he is forced to act in that way due to his offense in his eternal relationship with Krishna. Lord Krishna therefore says in Bhagavad Gita that Maya, his material energy, is so forceful that it is insurmountable. But if a living entity simply understands that his constitutional position is to serve Krishna and he tries to act on this principle, then however conditioned he may be, the influence of Maya immediately vanishes. This is clearly stated in the Bhagavad Gita 7th chapter. Krishna takes charge of anyone who surrenders to him in helplessness, and thus the influence of Maya or conditional life is removed. The spirit soul is actually Satchidananda, eternal, full of bliss and full of knowledge. Under the clutches of Maya, however, he suffers from continued birth, death, disease, and old age. One has to be serious to cure this condition of material existence and transfer himself to Krishna consciousness. For thus his long suffering may be mitigated without difficulty. In summary, the suffering of the conditioned soul is due to his attachment to material nature. This attachment should be transferred from matter to Krishna. So here, Lord Kapila is instructing Mother Devahuti on devotional service, science of devotional service, Krishna consciousness. And in this particular chapter, the chapter is entitled Fundamental Principles of Material Nature. How material nature acts on us. Because we are in this material world, so we are under the influence of this material energy, this material nature, and how it is acting upon us, what this material nature is making us do. It is important that we know about this so that we realize what our position right now is and where we should be going. The goal in life should be to become free from this conditioning of the material nature. So this verse, he is talking about a jiva's conditioned life. We are all conditioned by this material nature. And in this condition, things are enforced upon us. We don't want certain things to be enforced upon us, but we have no option but to accept these things which are forced upon us and are helplessly carrying out our things based on that. So, Prabhupada begins the purport by saying that the Mayavadi philosopher does not differentiate between the Supreme Spirit and the individual spirit. And he says, the Mayavadi philosopher says that the conditional existence of the living entity is his Leela. So this is something, that's why Prabhupada says this is the most dangerous interpretation. Leela is only the Supreme Personality of Godhead, His pastimes, and not our Leela or pastimes. And why is it the most dangerous interpretation? Because actually we are suffering, and the Mayavadi philosopher says that this is also our Leela, just like a hog, Prabhupada says. We know that a hog is suffering, he's eating stool, living in the most filthy place. According to Mayavadi philosopher, this is his Leela. So Prabhupada points out two defects in this Mayavadi philosopher's understanding. Number one, that there is no difference between the Supreme Spirit and the individual spirit. There is a big difference. There is a gulf of difference. Yes, there is a similarity, but the similarity is only in terms of the quality. They are both spiritual in nature. But in terms of quantity, there is a gulf of difference. That's why the Supreme Spirit is never conditioned. It's always free. It is controlling everyone, and the individual spirit gets conditioned. It is very small, so it is prone to get contaminated. And the second defect that they say is the Leela that we discussed. So, further, Prabhupada is saying that His pastimes, that is the pastimes of the Supreme Lord, are transcendental to any material activity. In the Bhagavad Gita, Prabhupada writes, Krishna mentions, and Prabhupada is giving an explanation to that verse, Janma karma cha me divyam evam yoveti tatvataha tyaktva deham punarjanma neti mameti so Arjuna. So, his pastimes, Krishna's pastimes are transcendental, and just by knowing this, that Janma karma cha me divyam evam yoveti tatvata, if we know that in truth, punarjanma naiti, we can become free from this conditional life. That is what this purport is talking about. And then he goes on and he says further that the suffering of the conditioned soul is due to his attachment to the material nature. So our suffering is because we have come to this material world and we are under the influence of this material nature. And the goal in life is how to become free from this material conditioning. So we are staying here in this material world, and we have to go to the spiritual world. So what is the difference between the material world and the spiritual world? Material world means conditioned life. Spiritual world means no conditioned life, liberated life. And what is conditioned life? Conditioned life means we are subjected to the conditions or the rules and regulations of this material world. How do we know we are subjected to the rules and regulations of this material world? Well, we can very clearly understand from the day-to-day things that is going on. The very fact that we have a body itself is a symptom of conditioning. Because of conditioning, we have accepted this material body. And this body, birth, death, old age, disease, these are the conditions that we have to accept. We are conditioned by this. We do not want them, but it is enforced upon us. So this is conditioned life. So conditioned life means wherever you are forced certain conditions, although you don't want them, and we have become so conditioned that we think that this is normal. That is what is called Maya. So deeply conditioned that we think that yes, this is something very normal. But no, it's not normal. This is our conditioning that we think it has become normal. And what are the different conditioning? So many different things. Just like, for example, to begin with, the 4 defects. A spirit soul is actually pure, right? But right now we are, we have imperfect senses. We cannot see things properly. We have the tendency to commit mistakes. Anyone wants to commit mistakes. None of us would like to commit mistakes. But to err is human. It's become a common proverb because everyone is conditioned in this material world. We all commit mistakes. We all have imperfect senses. We all try to cheat others or cheat someone or, some way or the others, and we become illusioned. So many conditionings we have. And apart from this, we have the threefold miseries. Adhyatmik, Adibhautik, Adidaivik. This is also conditioning. We don't want to be under these threefold miseries, but these threefold miseries they are just enforced upon us. So, to be free from this conditioning means we have to gain perfect knowledge. That's why Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, Jnanam Vijnanam Sahitam Yagyatva Mokshase Ashubhat. Jnanam Vijnanam Sahitam. If you get this perfect knowledge, this proper knowledge, this jnana, and Krishna is saying, I'm not only giving you jnana, I'm going to give you, he's telling Arjuna, I'm going to give you vijnana also. Jnanam Vijnanam Sahitam Yagyatva. And if you know this knowledge, then what will be the result? Mokshase, you will be liberated. Ashubhat. Ashubhat means all this inauspiciousness from this conditionings of this material world. You will be liberated. So, if we want to be free from this conditioning, we have to take to this knowledge. And what is that knowledge? Krishna says in this Bhagavad Gita, the next verse, he very nicely talks 9 points about the Gita, the knowledge of Gita, which is something similar to what the knowledge in the Bhagavatam is. The first, these 9 points are so important and so revealing, so exciting. Oh, I've got such a wonderful knowledge. If I just take to this, I'll become free from all the conditioning. I don't want birth, death, old age, disease. I can become free from this if I take to this. So that's why this knowledge is called, the knowledge that can free you from conditioning, it's called Raj Vidya, the topmost knowledge. There is so much knowledge available everywhere, but this knowledge no one is discussing. The knowledge, the topmost knowledge that exists in the material world will not free you from this conditioning. Like, for example, take the medical department. The medical department, they can produce a very nice medicine, very effective medicine. But that medicine can at most relieve you from your disease. They cannot guarantee you that there will be no more disease. Their knowledge ends there. I can produce a very effective medicine. It will relieve you, it will give you freedom from disease, only for the disease to come back. So why is this Gita knowledge the Raja Vidya? Because it is giving you a medicine which will not only relieve you from the disease, which will guarantee you no more disease. So which knowledge is better? Relief from disease and disease again is conditioning. No more disease is freedom from actual conditioning. So that is why this knowledge is called Raja Vidya, complete freedom. Raja Vidya, Raja Guhyam. It is the most secret of all secrets, Guhyam. Now how is this a secret? The knowledge is available everywhere. Anybody has access to this. But Krishna still says it is Raja Guhyam, very confidential. Means it's not disclosed to any ordinary person, or any ordinary person cannot understand. And Prabhupada gives one very simple example how it is Raja Guhyam. Just like we talk, no more birth, death, old age, disease. Now, if you tell this to an ordinary man, a common man, look, there is a life where you will not be diseased. And there is a place where there will be no more death and there will be no old age. You think a common man will understand? He cannot understand. He cannot comprehend. How are you saying that no disease or no old age, no death? He cannot understand. So this secret, this is the most confidential knowledge. A place where there is no birth, no death, no old age, no disease. And this a common man cannot understand. That is why it is Rajguhyam. It is very confidential, only for the select few. Only they will be able to appreciate and understand. So Rajvidya, Rajguhyam, it is Pavitram. It is completely pure. Just like God is pure, God is just like the gold mine, completely pure. But we have, although we are part and parcels of God, sometimes the particles of gold becomes covered by dirt. So we have become impure. But if we take to this pure knowledge, that our becoming impure is like the conditioning. We have become materially conditioned. So if you take to this pure knowledge, this knowledge is so pure, so powerful, so potent, Krishna's own knowledge, that by taking to this knowledge, we can become free from conditioning. So we should be very excited. There's such a wonderful, the topmost knowledge, the most secret of all knowledge, and the purest knowledge. It can make me free. It can make me free from all conditioning. Yes, I will accept it. And Uttamam. This knowledge is Uttamam. Uttamam means it is transcendental. Uttama. Tama means darkness. This material world is the world of, it's a dark world. Material world, entire material creation is dark. And that is why we need the sun. Imagine if the sun doesn't rise one day, what will be the state? So Krishna is so merciful. He has given us the sun just to dissipate the darkness of this material world. He's actually very kind. But then there is another kind of darkness. The darkness of, the ignorance of the self. And that is the real darkness that we have to overcome. And that is why it is said, this knowledge is Uttamam. Uttamam means it is transcendental. It can help you overcome the darkness of this material world, the ignorance of what is reality. We do not know. So just like Krishna has created the sun to overcome the darkness of this material world, Krishna himself is the sun for all of us to transcend, to show us the light to the spiritual world. In the spiritual world, there is no darkness. It is complete light. Na tad bhasate suryo, na shashanko na pavakaha, yad gatva na nivartante tad dhama paramam mama. So, the spiritual world is full of light because Krishna is there. And similarly, Krishna is present with us also. It's not that the spiritual world only is full of light because of Krishna being there. Krishna is with us here in this material world also. Krishna is actually very close to us. He's right there inside our heart. But we are not able to find him, we are not able to see him or feel him because of this conditioning. Because we are covered. So to remove this covering, to remove this material conditioning, to see Krishna, we have to cleanse our heart. And that is why Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's first verse in the Shikshashtaka, the 8 prayers that he gave us, is Cheto Darpana Marjanam Bhava Mahadavagni Nirvapanam. We have to cleanse our heart. This cleansing process, what is this cleansing process? That is chanting the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. And in Gita, further Krishna is saying, Tesham Satata Yuktanam. We have to continuously be engaged in the devotional service. And how we should be, if we want to cleanse our heart, if we want to get this conditioning removed, then Tesham Satata Yuktanam Bhajatam Priti Purvakam. This is very important. We have to serve the Lord Priti Purvakam. We have to serve the Lord 24 hours. It's quite a statement. Serving the Lord 24 hours, Tesham Satata Yuktanam, and 24 hours with Priti Purvakam. Only then Krishna says, Dadami Buddhi Yogam Tam. I will give you the knowledge by which you can come to me, by which your conditioning will be removed. So Prabhupada says, this Tesham Satata Yuktanam, 24 hours serving, and Priti Purvakam, Prabhupada says the deity worship is the best process by which a devotee can be engaged. Tesham satata yuktanam bhajatam priti purvakam. Because from morning till night, devotees have engagement in offering the services to the deities. Morning 3:30, wake up the deities and feed them, give them a balya bhoga, do aarti to them, bathe them, dress them, aarti from morning till night, 24 hours. May not be really 24 hours because we have a material body. So some needs of the material body has to be, fulfilled. Otherwise, it is possible 24 hours. Just like the Goswamis. The Goswamis were actually Tesham Sadata Yuktanam Bhajatam Priti Purvakam. They were 24 hours engaged in the service of the Lord. Nana Shastra Vicharanaika Nipunau Sadharma Samsthapaka Nidra Hara Vihara Kadi Vijitau. Nidra Ahara Vihara Adi Vijitau. They had conquered Nidra, sleep, Ahara, eating, recreation, everything they had conquered. So, to go to that platform requires time. There's a process. And the process is nicely engaging ourselves in whatever service we have been given. So, we are not the body, we are spirit, soul. And this needs of the body, sleeping, eating, all this is actually the needs of the body. So the more we engage in devotional service, in worshipping the deity, in doing our different services, more and more we'll be freed from this bodily concept of life. And then, slowly, this conditioning will be able to overcome and we'll be able to engage in the service of the Lord. Taking care of the body, Prabhupada writes, is like, we have this body, so I want this, I want that, I want this also, I want this need of my body to be satisfied. So the more we are in bodily concept, the more we are thinking in bodily terms, I need this for my body, I need that for my body, means we are having lot of desires. Desires are for the body. There is some desire for the soul, but that we are not conscious of. We are so conditioned. In this conditioned life, all our desires are on the bodily platform. So the more we are in the bodily platform, the more will be our desires, and more we desire, more we will be entering into the cycle of 84 lakh species of life. Desires means material nature is very merciful. Okay, you have a desire, you want to fulfill this desire, I'll give you another body. You can select from a big selection material nature has given us. Whatever you want, any kind of desire you want, I have created a perfect body for your desire to be satisfied. So before desiring something in this material world, we should be we should be afraid to desire something in this material world. Because Krishna is so merciful, He'll give you that body, a perfect body to fulfill your desire. So do you want to get into that? Because another body means, again the conditioned life continues. Birth, death, old age, disease, adhyatmic, audibaudik, everything continues. So no, I don't want my goal in life. This human life is a very short life. I want to get out of this conditioning, not accept another body and get into that conditioning. So, Uttamam, Rajavidya Rajguhyam, Pavitram Idam Uttamam, Dharmyam. Dharmyam, we know how, the dharma is basically to serve the Lord, and Prabhupada explains that we are, the real understanding of dharma means that we have to serve the Lord, and Prabhupada gives many examples, just like the finger. The finger's duty is to serve the body. A finger cannot enjoy. Suppose there is a rasagulla. A finger cannot enjoy the rasagulla by just touching it and tweaking it and doing something. It has to put it into the mouth, and only then the finger and the body will be happy. The finger will be happy because the stomach is satisfied. The stomach is getting the food, so the whole food is distributed, and that is the way to enjoy. So people don't know that if I have to get out of this conditioned life, I have to simply serve the Lord. Because if I serve the Lord and the Lord is happy, then automatically I'll be very happy, I'll be freed from this material conditioning. Imagine the same example, the finger. If the finger doesn't serve the stomach, the finger will be suffering. That is the conditioned life of the finger. But the free life of finger is, it should be able to act, there should be energy, it is freedom. Why is there freedom? Because the finger has agreed to serve the stomach. So people say that I am free, I can do anything that I want. No, we are not free, we just cannot do anything if we want. Yes, we can declare freedom. That will be in a state of illusion. And then our conditioned life will continue. So if you want to become free from this conditioned life, we have to submit ourselves to the service of the Lord. That is freedom from conditioning. In other words, we have to condition our minds, condition our body and senses to serve the Lord. Otherwise, this material conditioning will continue. Then, Pratyakshaavagamam. What is this knowledge Krishna is describing? Pratyakshaavagamam means you can experience this. And we know that example that Prabhupada gives, that if you're feeling hungry and you just have to eat, and by eating your hunger will disappear. You will feel satiated, you will feel nourished, you will feel energetic. So you can experience, if you're hungry, you eat something, you can directly experience that your hunger is gone. In the same way, if you just take to this Krishna consciousness, you will actually experience the happiness, the bliss of what is spiritual life. And the very fact that so many devotees who have taken to Krishna consciousness and are staying on to Krishna consciousness, are sticking on with this Krishna consciousness, itself is a proof that yes, I am experiencing the benefits of Krishna consciousness. There may be some disturbances, ups and downs, this and that, but by and large, we are all heading for a very wonderful goal. And I can experience the benefits of that as I practice Krishna consciousness. So it is Pratyakshaavagamam, Dharmyam, and Susukham. Susukham, it is so nice, it is so pleasurable. There is no other life that can promise happiness just by chanting, eating prasadam, dancing with devotees, taking nice darshan, serving their lordships. Is there anything that can be better than this? So first of all, it is Rajavidya, it is Rajaguhyam, it is the king of knowledge, the secret of all knowledge, it is the purest knowledge, and on top of this, it is Susukham. And it is Avyayam. Avyayam means it is the benefit that you get by practicing this knowledge, by taking to this knowledge, is Avyayam. It is inexhaustible. It is a permanent asset. No asset in this material world, everything in this material world is temporary. Only Krishna consciousness is permanent. Even if we have done we have taken to Krishna consciousness, very little, and somehow we don't continue. Even that remains as your permanent asset. That is why Prahlad Maharaj is saying, Tadapi adhruvam arthadam. These two words are very important. Adhruvam arthadam. Adhruvam means very temporary. This human life is very temporary. But although this human life is very temporary, you can make a permanent asset out of it. Arthadam. It is very meaningful, Arthadam. Imagine, from a temporary life, Krishna is promising you a permanent benefit. So shouldn't we be very, serious about this? That's what Prabhupada writes here in this purport, that one should be very serious in executing Krishna consciousness. Somewhere in this purport today, this seriousness of one has to be serious to cure this condition of material existence. One should be very serious to cure this condition of material existence and transfer him to Krishna consciousness. For thus his long suffering conditioning may be mitigated without difficulty. So you see, it is not at all difficult. It is very easy. That's why Krishna is saying it is susukham. Only thing is, we have to take to this process. And the process is given to us. We have to remember, we are simple servants of the Supreme Lord, and we have to serve the Lord. Bhaktivinoda Thakur is saying, Jeev Krishna Das, A Vishwas. If you have this Vishwasa, if you have this faith that Jeev is Krishna Das, we are the servant of Krishna. Korle, Jeev Krishna Das, A Vishwas, Korle, Toar Dukkha Nai. If you have this faith, then there is no more dukkha. All this conditioning, although we will be in this material world, but we will be free from this material conditioning because our consciousness would have gotten transformed. So, we should be seriously executing devotional service, and we should remember that we have a wonderful goal to achieve. I want to become free from this material conditioning and go back to the spiritual world and there eternally serve the Lord, enjoy with Him. We'll end here. Grantra Srimad Bhagavatam ki, Srila Prabhupada ki, Thai Gaur Premanande.